The fifth state in the Union, but the first state in our hearts. The state of Connecticut has a long and storied history of success on and off the athletic fields, and 22 Threads is your go to apparel brand for all things CT. Visit the 22 Threads website at www.22threads.com to shop their stores and blue collar football apparel collections now. 10% of each item sold is donated to a local Connecticut nonprofit organization. Look good, do good, because you love CT. Okay, back for another week here in advance of a big rivalry game against BC. We've got Jackson joining us. So, Jackson, welcome back.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
So, I want to start with this. It's kind of crazy for me thinking about it as I was looking back and getting ready to talk with you tonight. Kind of crazy to think that the season's just a little bit more than halfway over. How does it feel to you to kind of be at this point in the season? Just time flies, really.
Uh, yeah, it's definitely a crazy feeling. I mean, like I feel like I was just here, like, playing when it was Coach Moore just got here, that type of thing. And now, I only got 5 games left, hopefully six. So it's definitely bittersweet, but also, just trying to focus in the moment and focus on the game we have ahead of us for sure.
So take me back looking last week, the game against USF, another really tight game, competitive game for you guys. Take me through that game from your perspective and, things you did well and then things that you're kind of looking to improve on as you head towards the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think what we've just been focusing on, like in practice, is kind of just finishing. Like we played defensively. We played great for 3 quarters. We really dominated them. They scored that early touchdown off a turnover, hard things to control sometimes. But then, we really dominated, and then they obviously got 2 touchdowns back to back late that obviously won them the game. And when stops need to be made, we have to make stops, and that kind of definitely hurt. And because we felt like that was one we could get and kind of get going again, but yeah, it hurts. It hurts for sure because that we know that was such a gettable game.
How did it seem from your perspective going up against another mobile quarterback? I know that was something you guys struggled with a bit, in the earlier part of the season, but it seemed like you guys had a bit of a better handle on that heading into this game.
Yeah, we definitely handled it well. Obviously, he got out sometimes. You can't stop everything, especially with a mobile quarterback. Sometimes he's going to get out for sure. But, we handled it well for the most part. Obviously, they did that little or speed option, which got us a few times. But for the most part, we're kind of satisfied with that kind of portion. But we know we have to be even better this week because the quarterback this week is probably the most dynamic running quarterback in the country for sure.
I know UConn BC is a matchup that everyone gets really excited for. Last year, you guys pulled off the upset at home. How are you guys feeling heading into this one?
I definitely feel confident. Just trying to focus on what we got to do and control what we can control, and put in a good game plan offensively, defensively, special teams to put us in the best position to win. And obviously, a lot of us have chips on our shoulders for most of us, especially the guys in the Northeast. UConn was probably one of our only offers from the Northeast schools, and so anytime you play a team like a BC or a Syracuse, those or Rutgers, like those type of schools, there's definitely an extra chip on your shoulder. I know for me personally, like this BC was a school I really wanted to go to, and didn't get that opportunity. So anytime I get a chance to line up against them is definitely good.
I know it's been trickier since UConn's become an independent to necessarily have rivalries. Just given that you're not necessarily playing the same schools year in and year out as you do when you're in a conference. During your time at UConn, would you say BC has become kind of the biggest rival you've gotten to go up against that you feel like you've had?
Yeah, I definitely consider them a rivalry. Just the way like there's kind of the battle for the Northeast where we're so close. We're only hour 15 minutes away. Anytime you can take a bus ride to a school, that I consider that a rivalry because someone's got to own this area of the country.
Yeah.
So when we line up against them or other schools around this area, we want to win for sure. And I definitely consider it a rivalry.
I'm going to take a quick break from the interview to tell you about my friends at Martin Rosol's Meats. This fourth generation Connecticut family business produces kielbasa, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats using Martin Rosol's very own original recipes. Their products can be found in grocery stores, delis, restaurants, and hot dog stands throughout the state. And if you're looking for your fill right away, check out their retail store in New Britain. For more information, visit martinroselsinc.com and go support a UConn fan owned business. And now, back to the interview. Yeah, I know it's one that everyone always has circled on the calendar. It's kind of weird. I mean, we're here end of October and it's going to be like 80 degrees on Saturday heading into that game. Weird to be in a situation like that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't mind obviously warm weather, but this time of year it's definitely better to be football weather, like a cool 50, 55, and you can go out there with no rain and just play. You're obviously going to sweat, but you don't have to worry about getting too hot and dehydrated, that type of thing. So it's definitely going to be weird. I don't know if I've ever played this late into October with like a 75, 80-degree game, but I've just been hydrating and trying to prepare for that for sure.
Yeah. So as you've been working on practice heading into this game against BC, what are some of the keys that you feel or what it's going to take to take home this rivalry win here in beat BC?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like I said earlier, is just containing that quarterback. I think, especially you see the last 2 weeks, they've really put it in his hands, and he's had like over 150 yards rushing. So when they need something big on big plays, third downs, fourth downs, they're definitely gonna leave the ball in his hands and let him make a play. Even when they're passing, they definitely allow him to use his legs and get yards and that type of thing. So that's huge for us, especially where we've struggled sometimes throughout this season, like just being able to contain him in the pocket, knowing our rush lanes, and then when we get there, finishing the tackle off and getting on to the next play.
I think one of the things that's impressed me about this team under Jim Mora, and you look back at it last year and again this year, when guys go down, next man up really always seems to step up. And I know we saw that last week with Cam Edwards. How impressed were you by what he was able to do last week, coming in once Victor got hurt and really kind of having to take the brunt of the load there?
Yeah, it was definitely impressive, and I think it's something that we all thought would happen. Just the way we saw him work throughout camp, really, like the growth he's made from last year to this year throughout camp and the beginning of the season was tremendous. And I went against him on scout last year, and he's a great running back. And no, it's definitely exciting to say he's from Connecticut. We work out together, all that type of stuff when we're home. So it's exciting to see him finally, get on the field. There's obviously some guys in front of him that kind of prohibit him from getting out there at first, but now when he's getting his opportunity, he's making the most of it. So I'm definitely proud of him for sure.
Yeah. As you head down towards this second half of the schedule, what do you think are just some of the goals of the team to kind of finish this season strong here?
Yeah, just obviously it's still possible to make a bowl game. We obviously got to win out, and there's some big games ahead of us. But just taking it one step at a time and focusing on what we have in front of us. Sometimes you feel like you jump ahead, especially when you got those big ones, top 25 teams, that type of stuff. It's easy to look ahead. But this game this week's a big one, and like you said, it's a rivalry game. It's a team that kind of gives us a chip on our shoulder because they didn't really want a lot of us. So just focusing on what's ahead of us and taking it one play at a time, one step at a time, and trying to come out with a win.
Yeah, no, everyone's really looking forward to this one on Saturday. Speaking of rivalries, got a rivalry at the professional level this weekend. The battle in New York there between your Giants and Jets. How are you feeling about that matchup?
It'll be tough. The Jets defense is obviously really talented. I love watching them play. Defensively, their linebackers are really good. But hopefully, we can just, come out with a win. Obviously, when you're playing Battle in New York, you want to come out with a win. They only play every so often, so when you get the chance to play them, you kind of want to little bro them a little bit and get the win for sure.
Are there any Jets fans on the team? And then who are the fellow Giants fans with you?
Jets fans, there's Nate Voorhees and Malcolm Bell. They're both Jets fans. And Bob, our physical trainer. He loves to tell us about it. But then Giants fans, I think it's Brett. Uh, I'm trying to think who else. There's definitely a few more. I can't really think of it. I know Brett for sure because we always talk about it. But yeah, it's been tough. But hopefully we can get a win. Tyrod Taylor's been playing well. We'll see if Daniel Jones plays this week. But
Yeah.
hopefully they'll get the win.
Awesome. Well, Jackson, as always, I really appreciate you coming on. Best of luck at BC. Everyone's hoping to see you guys take home this big win. So best of luck, and we'll talk again next week.
Yeah, for sure.